Now live, on tape, from a secret, undisclosed location in historic downtown St. John's comes In the Library of Graphic Literature with your host, Wallace Ryan, coming in through BoomTube. One of these days I'm going to knock over the cup of tea now that I think about it. Quiet, you. How's everyone there today? As you can tell, it's nice and sunny here in the library. That's because it's a Friday afternoon as opposed to a Thursday night when I usually am shooting my show. I'm actually thinking about switching to shooting it on Friday afternoons because it's always nice and bright in here at least, and then it makes Thursday nights a lot easier because I'm having to post stuff for my friend and stuff like that, so it just makes it a lot easier. Anyway, hang on a sec. Spin of the old rack there. A sip of the old tea. Today, actually, it's Tetley tea English breakfast, which ain't half bad. So, let's get down to the books, and then I'll get down to a little bit of yakking about some other stuff after. Only 3 books this week, but they're pretty cool books. First of all, from Archaia comes Waves by Ingrid Chabert and Carol Morel. And it's basically a book about loss, about people trying to have kids and things not going the right way apparently. I'm still just starting to read it, but I mean, I looked through it and it looked really, really cool. Sometimes I do have a problem with some of these more emotional books, especially about loss and all that. I'm a widower myself, so sometimes when I'm reading some of these stories about loss and grief and that, I find them overwhelming. But this one actually looks quite cool. I just flipped through it, and even from what I could see, it's intense. But I think I'm going to read it and give it a shot. So give it a shot, folks. Waves. I like the sound of that. Now, next comes The Blade, and come on, try to cut this without slicing the book apart. And this week, from the good folks at DC and Vertigo, comes Robert Venditti, Kevin Moore, and Andrea Muti, I guess, is 6 Days Incredible Story of D-Day's Lost Chapter. And I like war stories myself, and when I seen this, I especially seen how it said it was a true story, I had to give it a shot and have a look at it. And even just sort of pawing through it already, I like the look of it. Nice artwork. The storytelling looks pretty good, even just from what I've glanced at it. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a read. I love the cover. So yeah, 6 Days from DC Vertigo. There's the spine. Okay. And really zooming through the books here this week, but that's because I had something to talk about too. Okay, last but not least among the books, and where did I put my razor blade to? I had it there a second ago. No, I'm probably sitting on it. Oh, no, here it is. Fell down behind the book there. Okay, so last but definitely not least, who doesn't like a good Marvel Masterworks, hey? I know I don't. I've loved Masterworks since they first came out. Masterworks were really the ones that got me super hooked, because when I closed up my comic book store, I still had a few of them left, of some of the earlier ones, and I began to think, geez, this would be a cool way to reclaim the collection I had sold as back issues. And never stopped from there. Okay, this week we have The Savage She-Hulk Volume 2. Now this is mainly by David Anthony Kraft and Mike Vosberg. I think Vosberg does just about all the art. Yeah, except for one issue, which is Alan Cooperberg. And like I say, I'm sort of more of a fan of Mike's independent work and all that, because I don't think anyone really quite inked him as well as they could have, right? But and I know some people say to me, you know, if you bought these issues individually, it'd be a lot less than whatever you pay for one of these, and probably so. But I'm addicted to the Marvel Masterworks these days, and I just can't help myself. So let's have a quick look at that there. Like I say, sometimes, once in a while, he'd hit a good inker, but I don't know, a lot of times, I think he actually inked himself the best of all people that I could think of, anyway. But hey, someone's got to do it. And a few backup things there, so I'm hoping they actually reproduce the John Byrne run on it, actually, because that seemed to be fairly popular. I remember reading it myself, and it wasn't half bad, you know. Probably the best She-Hulk, I think, that I can remember reading. Okay, and well, what do you know? That's it for the books. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about something else that I'm going to open up here. And what this is, and I've posted these already online, so I don't know how many people have seen this already. Let's open it up here. Been really looking forward to this. Come on, daring you. Okay, now what this is, I'll take out one and I'll put the others aside here. And I posted this to the page, so some of you may recognize this. What this is at long last, my poster for Wallace Ryan's Pure Comics Festival of Graphic Literature, taking place here from June 27th to the 30th. And we have as a special guest of honor, Mike Feehan, best known for his work on Exit Stage Left, the Snagglepuss Chronicles for DC, the Eisner nominated series. So our good buddy has an Eisner nod. Way to go, Mike. And so this is an event we're putting off this summer, and basically it's like a miniature festival. It involves, well, it starts out at Downtown Comix on the 27th, and we're holding actually a comic book contest, or comics art contest for anyone who's in Newfoundland. Anywhere from 1 to 5 pages. The subject, actually, the theme is going to be Newfoundland and Labrador, so see what you can do. Then on that Friday, we're going to have a lecture from Andrew Lohman, a professor at Memorial University, who's very much an expert on graphic novels and that. And I'm really looking forward to his lecture. And then Saturday and Sunday is basically the meat of the festival. We're going to have a vendors area, and we're going to have an ongoing salon for those 2 days. Basically, more or less, almost like an artist alley. And we're going to have workshops, and the workshops will basically go from everything. From the first one is there's a script writing, there's a penciling, there's an inking and lettering, there's a coloring with Paul Tucker. My buddy who drew Nobody Is in Control and did a fabulous job at that. And then Mike himself will be doing a workshop on drawing digitally. So it's going to be fun. And then we end up at the Geeks Public House for our end of the weekend party. So that's something nice, and so a bit of a social and get together with people and see what we did right and see what we did wrong, and improve, hopefully. I guess I'm assuming maybe we will do another one next year, but improve for the next one anyway. And so yeah, it's going to be a fun event. I've always wanted. I actually tried to hold one back in 2005, but my wife was very sick at the time and passed away that summer. So had to we foregoed that, and I always did want to come back to it. And many years later, I figured I got together with Bev Barber from the Anna Templeton Centre, and she helped me set it all up. And then Paul Tucker, of course, he took my inked drawing here and he turned it into a colourful masterpiece. I absolutely love the job he did on it. Top notch. And he's at TCAF this weekend, so if any of you are in Toronto and you're at TCAF, go over to Paul and say, Paul, I seen your Pure Comics poster and it's killer. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a very small affair too. We're looking maybe 12, tops 20 people per workshop, and the price is only $2 entry to get into the vendors area and the artist alley, which is got to make it the cheapest comic arts festival in the world. It's also the most easterly comic book festival in North America. So I've got a lot of firsts going forward. The other thing too is, you'll notice, of course, I branded it with my own name, Wallace Ron's Pure Comics, and I did this actually as a signal and a shout out to other artists out there across North America who are living, if not in big cities, then reasonably sized cities and all that, as a call to arms to hold their own little comic arts festival. It took a few months of organizing and stuff like that, but it wasn't that hard in the end. But it was hard, but it was well worth it. And to me, I thought that if we could have comic arts festivals put out by comic book artists in different towns and cities across North America, we could really spread the word of comics far and wide. So I'd even thought of basically offering a service of running your people's festivals for them if they wanted, and let them use the Pure Comics name and all that. But they got to invite me to their town or city to help out with it. But yeah, so that's basically the philosophy of it. Is I want to try to spur a movement of getting everyone involved. I mean, companies are involved. I mean, there are people out there talking about comics all the time online, and there are all the other art festivals out there and stuff like that. But I thought it'd be cool if we could, like I say, get individual artists doing their own comic arts festival. And this, like I say, I made this on purpose, a real learning type of festival where you get to show up and take the workshops and really actually learn skills of comics, basically. Because even, like lettering, we'll be showing them how to use a lettering guide, for instance. So it will be steeped in comic book lore and instruction, and just good old fun. Now the location here too. The other thing with this poster, the location is actually off a trail, Rennie's River Trail here in St. John's, Newfoundland, and this little area here was actually close to the school I went to, and on Friday nights there was quite a hoopla in this general area, so that's why I chose this actually. And the characters here, I went with are actually all my characters. This is Sherlock Platypus here. This is Five. She was part of the Fabulous Five, a parody of the Fantastic Four. This was Cosmos Jones, I think it was. This was from a comic I did, Zeitgeist, when I was a kid with my friend Jerry Porter. This is a new character I invented recently and have never used, Black Jacket. And over here is Bird and Downtown Bus. Downtown Bus was a character I did in comic strip form for the Muse newspaper here in St. John's, Newfoundland, and for the Ontario College of Art newspaper in Toronto. And actually, the eye opener at Ryerson, he ran for a company a year there because I lived across the street from them. So yeah, it's a really nice poster, and I'm super pumped about this whole thing. So hopefully it'll go well, and of course I'll be sharing photographs of the events far and wide, and hopefully it will be a great success, because I'd like to do this over and over again. And next time, actually, I even told Paul this. I said, next time you're the guest of honor. Sooner or later, I think I'll make myself the guest of honor. But now I'll give you a bit of a close up here on it here too, so you can sort of get a good look at it there. And there's Mike there, as seen in Downtown Comics. But yeah, it was very pleased with the way it turned out, and I can't say enough about how Paul Tucker's colors brought this whole thing to life. He's an amazing colorist, great comic book artist, and watch out, I'm predicting big things for Paul. And I guess that's about it actually for this week. I just wanted to expound on the pure comics philosophy and all that, spreading the gospel of the word of comics far and wide. That's my mission. So, oh, it's beautiful. That being said, I think I'm going to call it a day, because I have to go and meet my daughter and hang out with the grandkids and have a great Friday night. So everyone out there, have a great weekend. Loves you all to death, and we'll see you next week. Keep reading them comics. Oh. Mother Box, take me away. Oh my God, look. That's the 5th biggest boom tube I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God, it sucked me into...